Let me start with something that most people over 50 never hear from their doctor. There is a silent deficiency quietly stealing your memory, clouding your thinking, and making you feel like your brain is slipping away. And it has nothing to do with getting older, nothing to do with genetics, nothing to do with how smart you were in your younger years. Right now, millions of people are waking up foggy, forgetting names, losing their train of thought mid-sentence, and assuming it is simply part of aging. But what if that assumption is completely wrong? What if your brain is not declining? It is just desperately waiting for one specific signal it has been missing for years. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to discover 5 vegetables that your brain is literally craving right now. One of them is so powerful, it might change the way you eat forever. And no, it is not what you think. Here is the myth that has been quietly hurting people over 50 for decades. You have probably heard it. Maybe you have even said it yourself. Once your brain starts going, there is nothing you can do. People accept it. They chalk up the forgetfulness to age. They laugh it off at dinner parties. They tell themselves it is normal. But here is what the science is actually saying, and this is where everything changes. Your brain is not broken. Your brain is not dying. Your brain is starving. There is a specific mineral that your brain cells need every single day to fire correctly, to repair overnight, to manage inflammation, and to keep the communication highways between your neurons running smoothly. Without it, your brain starts sending distress signals, and those signals look exactly like what most people call aging. Fog, forgetfulness, fatigue, anxiety, poor sleep, all of it connected to one mineral that most people over 50 are chronically low in. That mineral is magnesium. Now, before you think this is just another supplement conversation, stay right here, because what you are about to learn is not about pills or powders. It is about food. Specific, powerful, easily available food that your grandmother probably cooked, but that somewhere along the way, your plate stopped seeing. And the most fascinating part? Eggs. The food that gets celebrated constantly as a brain food actually contain very little magnesium. Almost none. And yet there are vegetables sitting in your grocery store right now that are overflowing with this brain-critical mineral, plus dozens of other compounds your aging brain is desperately looking for. Let me explain how this works first, because once you understand the mechanism, everything else will click perfectly. Think of your brain as an enormous electrical system, billions of tiny cells, all talking to each other, sending messages back and forth at lightning speed. For that electrical system to work properly, it needs the right environment. It needs the right minerals to conduct electricity across cell walls. It needs the right compounds to reduce the inflammation that silently damages those cells over time. It needs antioxidants to fight the oxidative stress that accumulates in your brain every single day just from breathing, eating, thinking, and living. And perhaps most importantly, it needs support during sleep, because your brain does not actually rest at night. It cleans itself. There is a system in your brain called the glymphatic system, and it works like a washing machine while you sleep, flushing out waste products, clearing toxic proteins, and essentially detoxifying your brain cells for the next day. But this cleaning system only works properly when you have adequate magnesium in your body. Without it, the cleaning cycle is incomplete. You wake up foggy not because you are old, but because your brain did not get cleaned properly overnight. That is not aging. That is a missing signal. And today you are going to learn exactly how to give your brain what it needs. We are going to go through 5 incredible vegetables, counting down from 5 to 1. And the closer we get to number 1, the more powerful the story gets. Each of these vegetables carries a unique combination of brain-supporting compounds that work beautifully on their own. But when you bring them together, something extraordinary happens. These are not trendy superfoods with complicated names. These are vegetables you can find at any grocery store, in any city, at almost any budget. So let us begin. Coming in at number 5, we have a vegetable that has become one of the most talked about plants in the entire health world, and for very good reason. Broccoli. Now you might be thinking, broccoli? I've heard about broccoli my whole life. And you are right. But here is what most people do not know about broccoli and the aging brain, and this is the part that stops people in their tracks when they hear it for the first time. Broccoli does not just feed your brain, it actually helps repair it. That distinction is enormous. Most foods provide nutrients. Broccoli goes a step further and helps activate your brain's own internal repair processes. Let us break down exactly why. Broccoli contains a compound called sulforaphane. You do not need to memorize that word, just know that this compound is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory agents found in any vegetable on the planet. And inflammation in the brain, a condition sometimes called neuroinflammation, is one of the leading hidden drivers of cognitive decline. When your brain is inflamed, it cannot communicate clearly. It cannot clean itself efficiently. It cannot form new memories with the same ease it once did. Sulforaphane essentially tells your brain's immune system to calm down, to stop attacking itself, and to redirect that energy toward repair. Think of it like a firefighter arriving at a scene and putting out a slow-burning fire that has been quietly damaging your brain cells for years. On top of that, broccoli is a meaningful source of magnesium. Not the highest on our list, but significant, along with vitamin C, vitamin K, and a range of B vitamins that support healthy nerve function. It also contains choline, which is a nutrient critical for the production of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter most directly linked to memory and learning. When your acetylcholine levels drop, which happens naturally as you age and especially when your diet is lacking, your ability to form and retrieve memories drops with it. Broccoli helps support the raw material your brain needs to keep producing this vital chemical messenger. Here is how to actually use it for maximum benefit. Do not boil it. Boiling destroys a significant portion of the sulforaphane and washes away water-soluble nutrients. Instead, lightly steam broccoli for no more than 4 minutes, or eat it raw with a small amount of healthy fat like olive oil or avocado. The fat helps your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamins far more effectively. Try having a cup of lightly steamed broccoli at dinner 3 to 4 times a week. If you can add it to your evening meal specifically, you are giving your brain the anti-inflammatory support it needs right before your glymphatic cleaning system kicks in during sleep. You are essentially preparing your brain for a deeper, more effective overnight detox. The benefit for the aging brain is profound. Broccoli works to protect brain cells from the inside out, reducing oxidative stress, calming inflammation, and providing a foundation of nutrients that keep your neural pathways functioning clearly. People who regularly eat cruciferous vegetables like broccoli consistently show slower rates of cognitive decline in research studies. That is not a small thing. That is your future self still recognizing faces, still remembering birthdays, still feeling sharp and present. And here is what makes this even more exciting. Broccoli is just number 5. What comes next takes everything up several levels. Number 4 on our list is a leafy green that most people in Western countries have completely forgotten about, despite the fact that it was a staple in kitchens across the American South for generations. We are talking about collard greens, and if you have not been eating collard greens, your brain has been missing one of its most loyal friends. Here is why collard greens deserve so much more attention than they get. Of all the leafy greens you can eat, collard greens have one of the highest combinations of magnesium and calcium together in a single food. Now, why does that combination matter for your brain specifically? Here is the simple explanation. Magnesium and calcium work as partners inside your nervous system. Every single time a nerve fires, every time a signal travels from one brain cell to another, both of these minerals are involved in a precise dance. Magnesium controls the gates. It decides when a nerve fires and when it should stay quiet. Calcium acts as the trigger. Without the right balance of both, your nerves fire erratically, your signals become noisy and confused, and your brain has to work significantly harder just to process basic information. That extra effort is what creates the feeling of mental fatigue, that cloudiness after lunch, that inability to focus for more than a few minutes at a time. It is not weakness, it is chemistry. Collard greens also contain a remarkable amount of vitamin K1, which in the body can be converted to vitamin K2, a compound that has been linked to improved nerve insulation. Think of the nerves in your brain like electrical wires. Every wire needs proper insulation to conduct electricity efficiently without shorting out. Vitamin K2 helps maintain the myelin sheath, the protective coating around your nerve fibers, which essentially keeps your brain's wiring intact and functioning at full capacity. As that sheath degrades with age, signals slow down, connections become fuzzy, and cognitive sharpness fades. Collard greens help keep that sheath healthy and strong. Here is how to bring collard greens into your life starting tonight. You can sauté them simply with olive oil, a pinch of sea salt, and a small amount of garlic for about 5 to 7 minutes until they are tender but still vibrant green. You can also add them raw to smoothies. They have a milder flavor than kale and blend beautifully with banana and a small piece of ginger. Try to eat collard greens at least twice a week. If you can combine them with a source of healthy fat, even better. The fat-soluble vitamins in collard greens will be absorbed far more effectively when paired with something like avocado, olive oil, or a small handful of nuts. The benefit you are working toward here is sharper focus, cleaner nerve signaling, and the kind of sustained mental energy that lets you stay clear and present through an entire day without crashing. And here is what is so remarkable about this vegetable. It has been eaten by communities with some of the lowest rates of cognitive decline for centuries. The wisdom was always there. It got lost somewhere along the way. But you are bringing it back. And what comes next at number 3 makes collard greens look like just the beginning. Number 3 is a vegetable that has had a cultural moment in the last decade. And while some of the hype has died down, the actual science behind what it does for your aging brain has only gotten stronger. That vegetable is kale. But I want you to forget everything you think you know about kale as a trendy health food, because what we are talking about here goes far deeper than green smoothies and Instagram bowls. Kale is, at its core, a long-term brain protector. And for anyone over 50, long-term protection is exactly what matters most. Here is what makes kale unique among leafy greens. It contains a moderate amount of magnesium, yes, but where kale truly stands apart is in its extraordinarily high content of vitamin K. In fact, a single cup of raw kale delivers well over your entire daily recommended intake of vitamin K1. And when it comes to brain health, vitamin K is involved in something very specific and very important. It helps regulate a protein called Gas6, which plays a critical role in the survival of brain cells. Without adequate vitamin K, brain cells are more vulnerable to damage, more likely to die prematurely, and less capable of forming new connections. With adequate vitamin K, the kind of consistent food-based vitamin K you get from eating kale regularly, your brain has a fighting chance to maintain and even grow its network of connections well into your later decades. Kale also supports healthy blood flow to the brain in a way that many people do not think about. It contains nitrates, natural compounds that help relax blood vessels and improve circulation. Your brain runs on blood. Every thought, every memory, every moment of clarity requires a constant, efficient supply of oxygenated blood to every region of your brain. When circulation is sluggish, which becomes more common as we age, cognitive performance suffers visibly. The lights dim, reactions slow, word retrieval becomes frustrating. Kale helps keep those blood vessels flexible, open, and flowing, which means your brain gets the oxygen and nutrients it needs to operate at its best. Beyond that, kale is loaded with lutein and zeaxanthin, two antioxidants that are most commonly associated with eye health, but that also accumulate in the brain, particularly in regions associated with learning and memory. Researchers have found that higher levels of these compounds in the brain are consistently associated with better cognitive performance, faster processing speed, and stronger memory recall. You are not just feeding your eyes when you eat kale. You are feeding the parts of your brain that keep you sharp. How to eat kale for maximum brain benefit. Massage it. This sounds unusual, but it is actually one of the most important tips for getting the most out of raw kale. When you massage raw kale leaves with a small amount of olive oil and a pinch of sea salt for about 60 seconds, you break down the tough cell walls that make kale hard to digest, which dramatically improves your absorption of its nutrients. You can also lightly sauté it, blend it into soups, or bake it into chips at a low temperature. Aim for kale 2 to 3 times per week and rotate it with your other leafy greens for a broader spectrum of brain-supporting nutrients. The cumulative long-term protection kale provides is something no supplement can replicate. It is slow, steady, and deeply powerful. And number 2 on this list, it is about to show you a level of brain support that will genuinely surprise you. Number 2 is a vegetable that most people walk right past in the grocery store without a second glance. It is colorful, dramatic looking, and almost unfairly underappreciated given what it does for the human brain. We are talking about Swiss chard, and Swiss chard, with its deep green leaves and brilliantly colored stems of red, yellow, and orange, is not just beautiful. It is one of the most magnesium-dense vegetables on the entire planet, and for your aging brain, that is extraordinarily significant. Let us be very specific here, because the numbers are striking. A single cup of cooked Swiss chard delivers a remarkable amount of magnesium, among the highest of any vegetable you can eat. And remember what we established at the beginning of this video: magnesium is the mineral your brain's glymphatic system needs to complete its overnight cleaning cycle. Without adequate magnesium, your brain literally cannot flush out the waste products and toxic proteins that accumulate during the day. Those proteins, including ones associated with neurodegenerative conditions, build up over time when the cleaning system is impaired. Swiss chard, eaten regularly, helps ensure that your brain's nightly clean cycle runs at full capacity. You wake up clearer, you think faster, you feel more present. But Swiss chard goes beyond magnesium. It is packed with an exceptional range of antioxidants, including betalains, which are the same powerful compounds found in beets. These antioxidants actively seek out and neutralize free radicals inside your brain cells, reducing oxidative stress that, if left unchecked, damages the very structures your brain uses to store and retrieve memories. Think of oxidative stress like rust forming inside your brain. Antioxidants are the anti-rust agents. Swiss chard delivers them in extraordinary abundance. Swiss chard also contains syringic acid, a unique flavonoid that has been shown to help regulate blood sugar, and this matters enormously for brain health. Here is the connection that most people miss completely. Your brain runs almost exclusively on glucose. When your blood sugar spikes and crashes dramatically, which happens when your diet is high in processed foods and low in fiber and magnesium, your brain experiences those swings too. Every crash is a moment of reduced clarity, foggy thinking, and impaired memory function. Swiss chard helps stabilize that curve, smoothing out the blood sugar waves that would otherwise leave your brain running on empty between meals. Stable blood sugar equals a steadier, clearer, more reliably sharp brain throughout the entire day. Here is how to bring Swiss chard into your life beautifully. Sauté it with olive oil, garlic, and a tiny squeeze of lemon juice for about 4 to 5 minutes. The lemon does something important. The vitamin C in lemon juice dramatically improves your absorption of the plant-based iron in Swiss chard, which in turn supports better oxygen delivery to the brain. You can also add Swiss chard raw to salads when the leaves are young and tender, or wilt it into soups and stews during the last few minutes of cooking to preserve its nutrients. Try to eat Swiss chard at least twice a week, and if you can pair it with a Brazil nut or a handful of pumpkin seeds to add even more magnesium, you are giving your brain a truly exceptional evening of support. The mental clarity benefit of Swiss chard is one that people report noticing relatively quickly, often within 2 to 3 weeks of making it a consistent part of their diet. Brain fog begins to lift. Sleep feels deeper. Morning thinking is cleaner and faster. This is not a placebo. This is your brain's cleaning system finally running at the level it was always designed to run at. And what you are about to hear about number 1, the most powerful vegetable on this entire list, makes everything that came before it even more remarkable. Because number 1 does not just support 1 or 2 brain functions, it addresses nearly all of them at once. Number 1, the most powerful brain-supporting vegetable on this entire list, the one that brings together magnesium, folate, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, and brain repair nutrients in one single, humble, extraordinary leaf. That vegetable is spinach. And before you think, oh, I know spinach, let me ask you to stay with me for just a moment longer, because what spinach does for the aging brain is something most people have never fully understood. This is where the real story begins. Spinach is one of the richest vegetable sources of magnesium in the entire plant kingdom. A single cup of cooked spinach delivers an enormous amount of your daily magnesium needs, far more than eggs, far more than most proteins people eat as brain foods, and far more than most people realize they are missing. But spinach does not stop at magnesium. It layers on top of that foundation with a nutrient that is perhaps even more critical for the aging brain, and that nutrient is folate. Folate, also known as vitamin B9, is directly involved in a process called methylation, and methylation is one of the most important biological processes happening inside your brain right now. Every single day, methylation repairs damaged DNA, regulates the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, reduces levels of a harmful compound called homocysteine that damages brain blood vessels, and supports the formation of the myelin sheath around your nerves. When folate is low, which it is in a shockingly large percentage of adults over 50, methylation slows down. And when methylation slows down, the brain begins to show the signs that everyone associates with aging, declining memory, mood instability, slower thinking, and reduced emotional resilience. Spinach gives you folate in its natural, bioavailable food form, not synthetic folic acid from a supplement, but real folate that your body knows exactly how to use. This distinction matters more than most people realize. Food-based folate works in concert with all the other compounds in spinach, the vitamin C, the vitamin E, the lutein, the zeaxanthin, the iron, the potassium, to create a synergistic effect that no single supplement can replicate. This is whole food nutrition at its most powerful. Now let us talk about what spinach does for memory specifically, because this is where it becomes genuinely emotional. One of the most frightening experiences people describe after 50 is that moment when a word disappears. You know the word, you have used it 1,000 times, and suddenly it is just gone, floating just out of reach, frustratingly invisible. That experience, what neurologists call tip-of-the-tongue phenomenon, becomes more common as folate levels drop, as homocysteine rises, and as the neural pathways connecting your memory storage areas to your language centers become slower and less efficient. Spinach addresses this directly. The folate reduces homocysteine. The magnesium supports neural conductivity. The antioxidants protect the pathways themselves. The result, over time and with consistency, is a brain that retrieves information more cleanly, more quickly, and more reliably. Spinach also contains alpha-lipoic acid, a powerful antioxidant that is particularly special because it is one of the very few antioxidants capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier. Most antioxidants circulate in your blood but cannot enter the brain directly. Alpha-lipoic acid can. And once inside your brain, it both neutralizes free radicals directly and regenerates other antioxidants, essentially multiplying the protective effect happening inside your neural tissue. It also plays a role in glucose metabolism within brain cells, helping your neurons use fuel more efficiently and produce energy more consistently. And then there is the iron in spinach, a mineral that most people think of in terms of energy and fatigue, but which also plays a crucial role in brain oxygen delivery. Iron is essential for the hemoglobin in your red blood cells that carries oxygen throughout your body. When iron is even mildly deficient, oxygen delivery to the brain decreases, and you feel it. You feel it in your thinking. You feel it in your motivation. You feel it in the heaviness behind your eyes that makes concentration feel like an effort. Spinach provides plant-based iron in meaningful amounts, and when you pair it with a source of vitamin C, a squeeze of lemon, a few slices of bell pepper, a tomato, your absorption of that iron increases dramatically. Here is how to use spinach as a genuine brain medicine starting today. First, cook it. Many people eat spinach raw in salads, which is fine, but cooked spinach is actually more bioavailable for most of its key nutrients, including magnesium and folate, because cooking breaks down the oxalic acid in spinach that can bind to minerals and reduce their absorption. Lightly saute 2 large handfuls of spinach in olive oil for 2 to 3 minutes. Add garlic, because garlic contains allicin, a compound that has its own anti-inflammatory and circulation-boosting effects on the brain. Finish with lemon juice. Eat this at dinner 4 to 5 times per week. This single habit, 2 handfuls of sautéed spinach at dinner with olive oil, garlic, and lemon, is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain after 50. It is simple, it is inexpensive, it is deeply satisfying, and its effects on your thinking, your memory, and your sleep quality can begin to show within 2 to 3 weeks of consistent practice. If you want to amplify the benefit even further, add raw baby spinach to your morning eggs or to a smoothie with banana, a tablespoon of almond butter, and a cup of unsweetened almond milk. Your brain will be receiving magnesium, folate, antioxidants, and healthy fat from the very first meal of the day, setting the neurological tone for everything that follows. The memory retention benefit of regular spinach consumption is not subtle. It is the kind of change that people notice and remark upon. Names come back faster. Conversations feel easier. Reading feels more absorbing. That foggy glass you have been looking through begins to clear, not because something miraculous happened, but because your brain finally received the specific molecular signals it has been missing. And that is the whole truth at the heart of this video. Your brain was never failing. It was just waiting. Now here is what makes all 5 of these vegetables even more extraordinary. And this is the part that most health videos never mention, because most health videos treat food like individual ingredients rather than a living, dynamic system. When you eat broccoli, collard greens, kale, Swiss chard, and spinach together, not necessarily all in one meal, but regularly across your week, they create something greater than the sum of their parts. This is what nutritional scientists call synergy, and in the brain, synergy is everything. Here is how it works. The magnesium from spinach and Swiss chard supports your neural conductivity and your overnight brain cleaning. The sulforaphane from broccoli reduces the neuroinflammation that would otherwise interfere with that cleaning and damage the neurons the magnesium is working so hard to support. The vitamin K from kale maintains the myelin sheath insulation that ensures the electrical signals running through your magnesium-charged neurons actually arrive clearly and quickly at their destination. The calcium-magnesium balance from collard greens stabilizes the nerve signaling so that all this information moving through your clean, insulated, well-supplied neurons does so without interference or noise. And the folate from spinach orchestrates the entire methylation process that keeps your neurotransmitters balanced, your homocysteine low, your DNA repaired, and your emotional brain functioning with stability and resilience. Each vegetable addresses a different weak point in the aging brain system. Together, they form a complete protocol, a natural food-based system of brain support that has no side effects, no interactions with medication, though always check with your doctor if you are on blood thinners, as vitamin K can interact, no withdrawal, and no dependency. Just clean, consistent, cumulative repair. Day after day, week after week, month after month, your brain healing itself at the cellular level with ingredients it has always been designed to receive. So here is your challenge. Not a complicated one, not an overwhelming lifestyle overhaul, just this. Tonight, pick one vegetable from this list, just one, and add it to your dinner. Sauté some spinach with garlic and olive oil, steam some broccoli and drizzle it with lemon, wilt some Swiss chard into whatever you are already making. One vegetable, one evening, that is where it starts. And then for the next 7 days, try to include at least one of these 5 vegetables in at least one meal per day. Just 7 days, that is all. Because the brain does not need a dramatic overhaul. It needs consistent, gentle, nourishing signals. And when you give it those signals, it responds. Maybe not overnight, but faster than you think. And in ways that genuinely change how you feel every single morning when you open your eyes. If this video gave you something, a new perspective, a vegetable you are going to try, a piece of hope you did not have before you clicked play, then do one simple thing right now. Hit the like button. It takes 1 second, and it tells us that this kind of content, real, science-based, respectful, empowering health information for people over 50, is exactly what you want more of. Drop your age in the comments below, just your age. Because the community that watches this channel is extraordinary. People in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, their 80s, all choosing to fight for their brains, their memories, and their quality of life with the most powerful tool available, real food. And if you are not subscribed yet, please do that right now. We release new content every week, content designed specifically for people who are not willing to accept that the best years of their mental life are behind them, because they are not even close. Your brain is not done, and neither are you.